Hello, everyone on the phone, and welcome to the MSKTC-sponsored web clinic on using data analytics in social media. This web clinic supports one of our project's goals, which is to support knowledge translation, or KT, among model systems researchers. One aspect of KT is the identification of strategies to encourage the provision and effective use of healthcare services. KT requires interventions that are innovative to improve healthcare delivery. And communication strategies and platforms like social media really are key to that innovation and the expansion of evidence-based practices among practitioners and also consumers. We'd like to share what we've learned about using social media as part of our KT strategy and also learn from you about how it's working for you. In this web clinic, we're going to start first with a presentation. Amber Hammond is a digital media specialist at AIR, American Institutes for Research, and she's going to present on different social media platforms and their use. And after her, you'll hear from Carla McKenzie. She's got a public relations background, and she supports social media across all of our MSKTC work. As I mentioned, the web clinic will begin with a presentation. Amber and Carla will talk to us, and then we'll turn the focus to you and the work you're doing. So please consider what questions you have about social media analytics, what kind of work you're doing you'd like to share. We did hear from several model systems grantees. They emailed and called us in advance. So we'll begin with their questions, but please feel free to add your questions throughout the event on the chat feature. Now for this web clinic, you can see the objectives here. We will ask you to consider the importance of tracking your social media activities, and then we'll show you the analytics tools and key metrics to consider for social networks, followed by a tour of how at the MSKTC we're using Hootsuite, which is a social media management and measurement tool, and we'll show you how we're using that for social media analytics. Then we'll help you think about how to develop social media reports. We'll show you the templates that we've developed to track social media analytics. Finally, we'll discuss the metrics you may need to collect from your larger hospital's social media platforms. We do understand that not everyone controls or manages their social media. Sometimes they have to work through a hospital or larger organizational setting. And then we'll open the floor to you and ask you to ask. We have our guest presenters. They're really knowledgeable about social media, so please do share your thoughts with us. And I will turn it over now to Amber Hammond. Amber, it's all yours.
Thank you. Using social analytics tools allows you to track an account activity and gain a better understanding of what your audience is interested in, what they're most engaged with, when they use social media, and how far your reach extends. This allows you to tailor your strategy and messages to suit the needs and interests of your audience. As with any program, research activity, or important endeavor your model system implements, tracking analytics to measure results is an essential component of your social media strategy. If you don't know how your social media activities perform, how will you know what to sustain or optimize and what to change? How will you show return on investment for your work, justify continuing it? Many social media platforms offer evaluation tools to help inform your reporting and future direction for your page. For example, Facebook's Insights tool creates wonderful visualizations that help you address your efforts for everything from what time of day people visit your page to how they are reaching your page. This kind of feedback can help you make informed decisions about content creation, publishing, and promotion. There are 4 key categories of social media measurement. While this is not an exhaustive list of measures, please note that the terminology also changes from channel to channel. First, exposure. This is the reach of social media to the target audiences and others, including metrics like visits, views, impressions, followers, fans, and subscribers. Influence. This is the power of social media among other accounts and includes your share of voice, sentiment, and top influencers. Engagement is the interaction of audiences with the content, which includes measurements of clicks, reposts, shares, replies, messages, mentions, posts, comments, and shares. And finally, conversion. This is a marketing term that refers to the audience taking the action intended as a result of using your social media. This can include content downloads, events, funds raised, partners acquired, and study participants recruited. Let's take a closer look at the analytics tools native to 3 social networks, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and learn what kind of metrics to watch on each channel. But first, let me give you a brief description of how model systems can use each of these tools. First, Facebook. This is a popular free social network website that allows users to create profiles, upload photos and videos, post links, send messages, follow and interact with brands, keep up with current events, and stay in touch with other users. In fact, Facebook is so popular, it is used by 71% of all adult internet users. You can use Facebook to post text updates, link content on your website, images, and videos for users who follow your account. You can also use Facebook to engage your audience in discussions and ask them to complete an action you desire, such as to go or register for an event, or even sign up for a research activity, and so on. Twitter is a social networking microblogging service that allows users to broadcast short posts called tweets. Twitter is used by 28% of adult internet users. You can use Twitter to post images and videos with links to content on your website. You can also use the platform to interact with other similar users and participate in discussions with them. You can even write short updates about events as they happen, called live tweeting. According to Pew, the majority, or 63%, of both Facebook and Twitter users say the platforms serve as a source for news about events and issues outside the realm of their friends and family. This presents a great opportunity for you to reach these audiences.
Pinterest is a social curation and visual bookmarking website that allows users to share and categorize images they find online. You can use Pinterest to distribute original content from your website using a compelling image or infographic to draw attention. You can also use the platform's group board collaboration function to network with other researchers and share ideas and information. One of the main advantages of Pinterest is its ability to save links to resources that you discover on the web. We all find really interesting articles, images, and videos which would be useful for another day. The visual nature of Pinterest makes it easy to rediscover resources we have saved previously and to store them under a relevant topic. An additional advantage is that all the images link back to the original source, so you won't find yourself searching around for the place where you found the image. You can even write a note to yourself as a reminder of why you chose this particular resource. This can be a very useful feature for researchers who want to include the resources in reports.
On this slide is a screenshot of the overview section of Facebook Insights dashboard. With Facebook Insights, you can customize the analytics time period you want to study, analyze metrics about your page's performance, such as likes, reach, visits, posts, videos, and people, which we'll talk about next, and export data at 3 levels: page data, post data, and video data. Keep in mind that insights are only available after your page audience has reached at least 30 people. On Facebook, the key metrics to watch include likes. This refers to your page's fans. Insights provide your total net likes, which is the number of likes minus the number of unlikes, and where your likes happen. That is, whether you received your likes directly on your page via Facebook suggestions to like your page, or from views from your post, among other avenues. Reach refers to the number of people who have seen your post. Your posts count as reaching someone when they are shown in the newsfeed, or Insights provides your likes, comments, and shares, which are actions that help you reach more people. They also report negative actions, including hides, spam reports, and unlikes, which can decrease the number of people you reach. And finally, total reach. Visits. Visits refer to the number of times each of your page tabs was viewed. Insights provides information about your page's external referrers, which is the number of people who saw your page from a website other than Facebook. It also provides the URLs of the referring websites. And posts. This refers to the content you disseminate via Facebook. This can be a status, an image, video, or link. Sites provide specific data for each post, including the type of post, whether it is public or private, its reach, and engagement. Facebook defines engagement as the number of unique people who clicked, liked, commented on, or shared your post. And finally, as promised, people. This refers to your page's fans. It includes the number of people whom your posts were served to in the past 28 days, and the people who have liked, commented on, or shared your posts, or engaged with your page in the past 28 days. Insights provide data on your fans, locations by country, city, and their language, and demographics by gender and age. On screen, you should see a screenshot of the tweet activity dashboard. With tweet activity, you can see how people engage with your tweets in real time, compare your tweet activity and see how it trends over time, find detailed metrics for individual tweets, and download your tweet metrics. On Twitter, the key metrics to watch include impressions. This refers to the number of times Twitter users are served your tweet in their timelines or search results. Engagements. This is the total number of times users interact with your tweet. Further, your engagement rate is calculated by dividing the number of engagements by the number of impressions. Clicks. This includes the number of times users click on your hashtags or links, or to your user profile information, or the photos or videos embedded within your tweets. Retweets. These happen when users share your tweets with their followers. Favorites. This is how users show appreciation for your tweets and is represented by a small heart icon. Finally, replies and mentions. Replies are users' responses to your tweets, and mentions are tweets from users that contain your Twitter username anywhere within the body of their tweet. Replies are technically mentions because they contain your Twitter handle. Pinterest's analytics tools is a relatively new space in the social media realm, but this can provide valuable insight into your activities on the platform. It helps you which pins and boards from your profile people love most, find out what people like to save from your website, discover who your Pinterest audience is, including their gender, location, and other interests, and ascertain what devices people use when they're pinning their images, and finally determine how referral traffic flows from Pinterest back to your website. On Pinterest, the key metrics to watch include pins from your website. This is one of the most important metrics to consider because it informs you of the daily average times Pinterest users pinned from your website, which can help you determine if the visual content on your website resonates with your visitors. Repins from your website. Repins on Pinterest help content quickly get in front of new visitors who may not already be following your account. Reach is the daily average number of people who saw your pins on the platform. And website referrals. Pinterest can drive greater visibility and more visits to your website. Now I will turn it back over to Carla, who will share with you a social media management tool called Hootsuite.
Hootsuite is a social media management tool that allows you to connect your social media accounts such as Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Other platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr can be integrated using apps from the Hootsuite App Store. Once you have these apps in your dashboard, you can pull content from one and cross-post it to others. The Hootsuite dashboard is the central place where you can post, monitor, and analyze all of your social media content across every social platform. Hootsuite allows you to measure and analyze the effectiveness of your social media outreach and campaigns. You can also share results with easy-to-grasp reports. This includes tracking engagement and conversions with insights from Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and Google Analytics. So now I'm going to show you on the screen how the MSKTC uses Hootsuite. Here we have the MSKTC dashboard, and you won't be able to see the details here, but you can get an overview of how the page will look. So Hootsuite helps the MSKTC track and manage all of our social network channels. It helps us monitor what people are saying about us. So if you take a look across the top, you can view different streams from multiple networks such as Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and post updates or reply directly. This can be useful if you manage multiple Twitter channels or Facebook pages like the MSKTC does. You can even post to multiple channels at the same time.
Carla, this is Dahlia. I wanted to ask, I'm not sure if everyone will be able to read the small font on the image, and I wonder if you could sort of point to what is there in the left column, for example. What are we looking at?
Okay, so here on this stream, you can put, you can see who mentions you. You can put in keywords such as, this is our account for spinal cord injury, so you can draw to the hashtag spinal cord injury or SCI, and you can see who is mentioning different things about that. And then key SCI players are just other organizations that have Twitter feeds that, you know, that seem to be key players within SCI. And also you can schedule tweets to go out.
Okay, great, thank you.
No problem. So the MSKTC project uses Hootsuite to place tweets primarily because it allows us to schedule the tweets to go out so that we constantly have content lined up for our viewers. In addition, it makes it fairly easy for one person to manage the social media. And now I'll turn it back over to Amber.
Thank you, Carla. We recommend using a social media report to track your analytics. You can use a template online or create your own. You will need to develop a schedule to review your metrics on a regular basis, such as weekly, monthly, or quarterly. When developing your report, it's helpful to refer to the goals you've set for your social media activities. Ask yourself what outcomes are most important to achieve, and then measure success accordingly. Carla will show you the social media reporting template the MSKTC uses.
Great, thank you, Amber. So here on the screen is a simple tracking tool that we use on the MSKTC project to review our monthly analytics and report those analytics to our clients. On the first day of every month, I review the analytics for the MSKTC social media accounts. Tracking this data allows us to capture how we have grown from the previous month. Tracking our social media analytics is essential because it helps us to figure out what is or isn't working. It also allows us to track our progress throughout the year, and it provides us with data that can help us discover the best ways to allocate our time. The MSKTC focuses on Facebook and Twitter, but we have recently started a LinkedIn account to connect with model system researchers and professionals in all areas of disability. We track the number of posts we publish every month, the number of Facebook likes, and the number of Twitter followers. We also track the analytics from our blog that we use. We use this blog for additional content from our MSKTC newsletter that goes out every month to model systems, grantees, and other recipients. We take a more in-depth look at Facebook and record the number of posts, the number of audience likes, the gender of the people who are liking our posts, and we also check to see what countries the viewers are coming from. As I mentioned, we have a monthly newsletter, and we like to see how our subscribers have grown. How many people have opened the newsletter, and then we track whether the email has bounced and whether people clicked around the newsletter, unsubscribed, forwarded the email, or complained. We also record the number of LinkedIn connections we have made. And lastly, if we notice anything that needs a little work, or if someone has sent us a message, we will add this in the comments, observations, or insights box. And I'll turn it back over to Amber.
Thank you. We understand that many of you are operating model systems within a large hospital organization, and perhaps your hospital has a social media account of their own. If your hospital's policies don't allow for a separate social media presence for your model system, we recommend providing content for them to use and subsequently collecting data from them on that content. Some ways to track your social media success when you do not control the account are to request a login to the hospital's social media account. Some channels like Facebook offer a variety of roles, including those that allow you to review and export data without being able to change account settings or publish content. Ask the hospital to send a copy of the data they export for their own reporting so you can extrapolate the metrics for your own content. Use the information in this presentation to request just the key metrics you need to plug into your report. All right, now we're going to open the floor up to participants to ask any questions you may have. If you will, please type your questions into the chat feed. In addition, we already have some questions that people sent us in advance.
Okay, well, we're looking for your questions on the chat feature. And in the meantime, I want to go ahead and address some questions that came up. As I mentioned, some folks called or emailed us in advance. One of them was, and I'll direct this to Carla, please, to demonstrate knowledge translation, or KT, what analytics are best to use and communicate to funding agencies?
Definitely, I think that some of the key things to communicate to funding agencies would be things such as like the things that people liked, or the reach of your posts, the amount of visits that people, amount of times that people have visited your page, or maybe visited your website from a post that you put up, as well as how many video views, if you have videos on that you've placed on YouTube or any social media account, how many people are actually sharing these and engaging with your social media account.
Okay, great. Thanks, Carla. While Carla was speaking, Rebecca sent us a question. Would it be possible to have the templates you use emailed to us? Absolutely. We'd be more than happy to. In fact, we're going to be posting them along with the webinar on the Model Systems Knowledge Translation website. So we'll have some examples of the templates that we use. Great. Thanks for that question, Rebecca. Next, I'm going to direct this one to Amber. Use of polling in Facebook. How do you measure the effectiveness of that strategy other than just response numbers?
Great question. When using the Facebook polling feature, in addition to simply asking for an A, B, C, or D response, ask for commentary on the answers. Ask if it's a multiple choice, why did they choose it, or do they have any other contributions to make that weren't within the poll choices. This is a great way to open up the floor for engagement and to dig into what your audience is really thinking, and to find opportunities to spark even further conversation. Maybe someone in your audience responds with a particularly poignant point, and it's that you may want to explore right there or open up further posts in the future. So in addition to just the numbers, then you get rich qualitative data that you can add to the to your success, because that is such a big part of it, is how your audience is engaging with you, not just the numbers.
Great, thanks, Amber, because I know our grantees really are focused not just on reporting numbers, but they want to know the qualitative piece too. Are they communicating effectively? What more information do people want to know? The next question I'll pose to Carla, back to Carla. To demonstrate knowledge translation, or KT, what analytics, I'm sorry, I asked you the wrong question. Can we divide reach and engagement when we're using analytics? Can we separate those things out?
So definitely with Facebook. On Facebook there's an Insights tab, and it allows you to take a look at the reach. You can see how many people have viewed your post, how many people have shared your post, as well as you can see the amount of visits to your actual social media page, and also look at how many people have visited your website from your social media accounts. And so as far as reach, that would have that covered. And engagement, you're able to see how many people have liked your post, how many people have taken negative actions, such as hid your posts or put spam reports or unlike. So I would recommend using the Insights tab on Facebook if you ever wanted to separate reach and engagement.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Phil Klebine, I don't know if it went to everyone or not, so I repeated it to everyone. Phil asked, he's interested in knowing if any of the other folks on the phone on the web clinic are using Pinterest. And if you are using Pinterest, would you respond in the chat feature, not just that you're using it, but how you're using it? What are the benefits that you're finding from using Pinterest? And you can respond as you want in the chat feature. There was another question that we got about how social media can be used to help track patients who join our model systems research studies. And that was an interesting question because actually social media is a really great way to track patients because a lot of patients, particularly if they're low income or transient, they tend not to have landlines, right? So they move around a lot and they can change their cell phone numbers fairly frequently. So social media allows you to ask patients to friend or like your Facebook pages, so they'll get messages. You can ask patients to follow your organization on Twitter if you have a Twitter feed, and so they're always connected that way. You can send reminders through Facebook announcements and Twitter feeds back out to those patients. You can also ask for input on your social media pages, because that might get you some buy-in and generate interest from patients on something that isn't necessarily directly related to their health, but it keeps them in touch with you. So those are some ideas, yes.
And in addition, I know like Facebook, it allows you to create groups. So if you do have a certain study, you could create a group and actually friend people and put them in their group so you can stay up to date and put different statuses and resources out. So that would be helpful as well.
Oh, great, great. Is there anyone else on the call who is using social media to track patients? And if so, we'd love to know more about the strategies you're using. And I see Rebecca. Oh, thank you. So University of Michigan Spinal Cord Injury Model System is using Pinterest to share links to our newsletters, information for caregivers, health information. Excellent. And what are the benefits you're finding? Are you finding people respond well to it, or are you still kind of figuring out if Pinterest is the right social media platform? And while Rebecca's responding to that, I really encourage everyone on the call to, if you have questions about social media generally or data analytics in particular, we'd love to hear from you. And also, feel free to share anything that you're doing that's interesting or innovative. Other folks on the call would love to know more. All right, thanks, Rebecca. She said they're still figuring it out, but finding the caregiving board is pretty popular. Oh, interesting. Interesting. We're partners with Brainline, that's traumatic brain injury, and I think they told us a long time when we first started talking with them years ago that one of their primary audiences is also caregivers. So I think caregivers are a really important audience for social media. No questions? Either folks are still figuring out social media or you've got it down pat and it's really just a question of what kind of analytics to use. Well, thanks, Rebecca. You're sharing things like Caregiver Bill of Rights, tips for stress relief. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, great. Thanks, Rebecca, for sharing your link to your Pinterest page. It's pinterest.com/UMSCIMS. Thank you. Phil got his answer. Wonderful. So how are folks on the phone, how are you using social media? Are you using Facebook? I know Rebecca's using Pinterest, probably one of several social media platforms she's using are using Facebook. Do you find that's the most popular one? Twitter? Are there other kinds of social media that you're using? Okay, and Cynthia mentioned that they use Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Vimeo. And there's some really great YouTube videos out there, and you can make fun YouTube videos in just a few minutes long, and it doesn't have to go viral. It just has to be really accessible for users. And fortunately, YouTube does provide auto captioning. As long as you request the auto captioning, YouTube will provide it. It's not the best, it's not perfect captioning, but it helps to make your videos more accessible. So what are some of the other social media platforms that you all are using? And also, are there any of you who are actually in that larger hospital setting we talked about, where someone else controls the social media? If so, do you have any experiences you can share with the rest of us? Great. I see Phil is using at UAB. They're using Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And Judy shared that the NER SCIC posts all of their education videos to YouTube. Oh, very cool. And what is Vimeo?
Vimeo is pretty similar to YouTube. You can place videos. It's like a video platform.
Yeah. Okay, great. Oh, wow. So Phil talked about putting up ed videos. They've had over if I can read my numbers, 700,000 views so far. Or was that 7 million? And at the New York TBI model system, they're using Facebook, YouTube, and a quarterly e-newsletter. That's great. Thanks, Reese. I'm curious to know what you're posting on YouTube. Is it all educational videos, or are there other kinds of messages you put out there? Vivian noted that they use Twitter and they send a newsletter, both hard copy and via MailChimp online. Oh, I learned about MailChimp just last year. 700,000 is what Phil's reaching. Excellent. Educational videos. In our May webinar, we talked about social media planning, and I really encourage anyone who's interested to go back to the website and review that. We also have tools and templates to help you with planning social media, really from soup to nuts. And if you've already got part of your social media done and planned, this tool I think is still really useful to pick up at whatever point you're at in your planning. And thinking about a plan for continuing to update your social media. I see other people are using MailChimp as well. And so it sounds like you all have access to your own social media pages, and you're able to share out information. And Reese mentioned mostly educational videos, videos regarding identification of TBI and depression, that sort of thing. Great. Judy mentioned that NERI-SCIC also disseminates newsletters, spinal cord injury community events and updates, YouTube postings, etc., also using MailChimp. Very interesting. And do you all have social media plans? You know, what you're doing for the next 6 months to a year. You've got your resources in place. You've got enough staff to help with your social media. And if you're finding challenges with either getting it set up or putting it into place, what are those challenges? And let me ask that actually of Amber and Carla as well. What are common challenges, Amber, that you find with setting up or keeping social media up to date? And Carla, do you have any experiences specifically from MSKTC that you could share?
I think the biggest problem that I've encountered managing social media and heard from others who do it is finding the time to do it and to take the time, because it is social media and the title is social, and so it's more than just pushing out messages, but also going to other pages and engaging with partners who are in your field or who are potential influencers, and making a connection with them and making a connection that resonates with your audience, and asking them to participate, because as people, we like to be heard, and that extends into the social media world as well. And so sometimes it can be really easy to just make a social media calendar, schedule everything in Hootsuite, push it out the door, and let it go to the next month. But you'll find that your numbers and your engagement, both of those qualitative and quantitative metrics, will increase when you take the extra time to go out and with your audience, and then learning from your analytics, taking the time to not just report the numbers, but to learn from them and make adjustments accordingly. Sometimes we get caught up in all these other tasks that need to get done, and so remembering that that's really important too is a good challenge to start overcoming.
Thanks, Amber, and that's very helpful, and it's actually very relevant to Judy's comment. Thank you, Judy. You stated you've been reluctant to initiate Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and other social media platforms because of staff time restrictions, and you want to be able to maintain it once you begin. I think that's very, very wise. And Amber and Carla may have some tips for that. I would certainly encourage you to look at that social media planning tool that we've got online. It might help just to think about what your goals or objectives are and help you focus. You don't have to do everything. Doing one thing and starting small is probably a good way to begin.
I think that with the MSKTC, I would suggest, I actually use an Excel workbook, and with the social media management tool Hootsuite, it really is helpful because it's allowed us to upload bulk tweets of information and put the content out. And I would say that it's very important to engage with the people that follow you. So I really realized increase in numbers when I started following accounts that followed us back, and I just went through and tried to follow everybody. So really engaging and reaching out there is important.
And Amber, maybe you can speak also to the time factor, because what Carla's talking about takes persistence, but it doesn't necessarily take a lot of time.
Right.
That's a matter of just setting a calendar and being sort of regular about your outreach and connecting efforts.
Absolutely. And that's where having and using the tool like Hootsuite comes in handy, is because it does take away the day-to-day scheduling, and you can get that batched and sent out, and then that opens up your time to do the engagement and do the social listening of what's going on in your network, and to then do the listening to your own stats and learning from that. So the tool really helps play into that to open up and find that time. And to Judy's post and insight, that's very astute, because that is one of the key things that social media experts always say, is it's better to do one thing and do it really well than to spread yourself thin and do 3 or 4 sites poorly. You're going to find Facebook probably has the most bang for your buck, and the tool that we have online digs into you can use it effectively, and so then trying to really build your network and do well on one before branching out in others is the strategy we would definitely recommend.
Great, thank you. And Phil's my favorite kind of poster, because he goes days without posting because he doesn't want to overpost. And so no one likes an overposter, but you want to be able to post frequently enough to be able to get your message out. So let's take his example. He posts when something's useful, which I think is smart. Okay. And he might go days without posting. Is that okay, or is that should he pump it up a little?
Well, we try. I would recommend posting about 2 to 3 times a week if possible. So you could probably pick like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule, or a Tuesday, Thursday if you find yourself not having enough content or not wanting to put out 3
but just posting regularly so people know that they could come back to your social media page and pull information would be, so about 2 to 3 times a week would be good.
Okay, great, thank you. And I'm curious about the folks on the phone from model systems. If you've been a model system for more than one cycle, have you noticed a change in the social media? Are you finding that you're getting better results in reaching your end users with social media over time? Or have you not noticed a change yet? And I realize that in at least one case you're not really using social media yet. And while folks are responding to that question, Cynthia added that interacting with users can take a lot of time. People have specific questions about their own or a family member's spinal cord injury, so responding can take time as well. That's a very good point, thanks. And again, that question is whether you've seen over time greater results or maybe just different results in reaching end users. And while folks are pondering that question, if there's anything else that comes to mind, a burning question you've had about a particular type of social media, particularly a social media platform that you're not very knowledgeable about. As I said, Amber is a digital media specialist. We picked Facebook and Twitter because they're very popular, Pinterest because it's emerging and innovative, but there may be other kinds of social media we haven't touched upon today that you're interested in learning about. Great, thank you, Judy. We've had a great increase in engagement through posting the ED program, which brings in requests for information nationally and internationally over time. Okay, I think you mean through your YouTube postings, if that's correct. Let us know. And Reese, over the past few months, we've increased the frequency of our Facebook posts from twice a month to twice a week, sort of goes with what Carla was saying. We have a significant increase in visitors due to our greater visibility on Facebook. We also provide our Facebook link in our e-newsletter, and currently we have about 1,000 likes on Facebook. Great. And Judy says yes, it's her YouTube channel. And so are you all tracking that data? And if you're tracking it, are you just tracking numbers, or are you digging in a little further with some of that qualitative information of how it's been useful? Oh, YouTube and MailChimp. Thanks, Judy. And Reese, I wonder if you've had greater focus on social media for any particular reason. Did some staff time open up, or did you change the goal or focus of your social media planning? Reese, our center realized the importance of social media and engaging with consumers and people living with TBI. Great. And again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but that planning tool really actually, it's not just picking a social media platform, it's picking a social media platform and process that fits in with your goals. So as Reese was just stating about the center realizing the importance of social media, wanting to reach with consumers and people living with TBI, social media seems to be really effective with reaching those consumers and caregivers. I don't know if people are using social media to connect with other researchers. Perhaps they are through things like LinkedIn or ResearchGate, with other practitioners through other types of social media. But for sure, consumers, audiences are looking, Facebook, as Amber said, seems to give people the most bang for their buck in reaching people. And let's hold on for just one more minute. If anyone has additional questions or comments, please send them through the chat. You can also always unmute your phone if you'd like to speak. Okay, great. Try to pause a lot so I don't cut anyone off, but we're about 5 minutes before the end of the hour. I want to thank everyone for your participation. We will send you an evaluation form after the webinar, the web clinic's over. We'd love to hear your input on whether this is content that was useful to you, that you can apply. If you have questions or want more information, let us know. If there are other topics related to reaching different audiences or KT strategies, please let us know. We'd be happy to provide more information. And I also want to thank our presenters, Carla from the MSKTC, thank you very much, and Amber Hammond, who's dialing in from Florida, but hopefully it's all seamless. And Amber, thank you for your expertise in digital media practices.
Thank you.